Hi, everybody.
Hello. Good morning, everyone.
Good
Good
morning,
morning, Sarah.
Susie. That's
Oh
right.
my
We
God, I'm
are
so
Sarah
excited.
and Susie. I am so excited. And you guys are watching Future of Women Web and Work, an online platform for inspiring content through monthly live streams and webinars. Our mission is to empower women and binary people, encourage conscious entrepreneurship and meaningful work so that they may live a life that's powered by passion and community in the digital age. We have an ongoing partnership with ESME Philippines, the first e-learning marketplace in the Philippines, to put the spotlight on Filipino entrepreneurs and industry experts. Now, I'm going to ask you guys if this show is valuable to you, which I'm sure it is because it's the Love Month. And if you've watched our past episodes and learned from the
Woohoo!
future of women, web, and work, we would love if you can share this. Let us know once you've shared the stream so we can thank you ourselves.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah. We have so much energy because this is the first time we do it in the morning, right? So and of course because of the topic, so today's episode is entitled Dating Locally, the future of dating in the Philippines. So we are doing this because it's the love month, Valentine's themed episode for February for all the single viewers out there, so including us, Sarah and I hope that you have your questions ready. I was, thinking of my questions last night, and I'm sure there will be more later on as we go deeper into the discussion. So we are going to talk to the founder of Singles, a dating company that organizes some of the biggest gatherings of singles. The organization, founded in 2014, helps singles in the Philippines get out of their comfort zones, expand their network, and become smarter in coaching sessions, in choosing their romantic partners. It provides matchmaking services, coaching sessions, and social clubs for singles. So, a social research analyst and dating host by profession, our guest is the first Filipina certified matchmaker. I didn't even know that it exists until today, by the Matchmaking Institute, a relationship sciences school in New York, USA. She has also studied psychology, diplomacy, and graduated with a master's degree in sociology from De La Salle University in 2018. Currently, she also serves as dating show host for ABS-CBN's digital channels. Let's all welcome Coach Vanessa Antonio.
Hello, thank
Woohoo!
you,
Yay!
Susie and Sarah,
It's
for
loading.
having me here. Welcome watching.
Good
Good
morning. Or
morning.
maybe it's different. Good night for you. Good afternoon.
Yes, good evening from the other side of the world.
Yeah, for all the viewers out there,
Yeah.
so Coach Vanessa is in the US right now. And so but you're not partying on a Friday evening
I am
tonight.
I am not partying thanks to COVID.
Okay,
Okay,
if
I
that's all
think we
right.
have so many.
Oops.
All right.
Okay. Okay, we're gonna continue. I think Susie was gonna say we have a lot of questions. And as she mentioned, like we were already thinking of what to ask you even before the stream started, right? So I think the question on everybody's minds are how are singles dating during COVID? And are there quality single men and women left out there?
Yes. Lovely, lovely question. I have been actually receiving that kind of question since the pandemic started. But Sarah, and to everyone who's watching Women Web and Work, I'd like to tell you guys that actually there's no stopping for singles even or despite the pandemic. So when you look at even dating apps, they are reporting a higher number of downloads. Women starting introductory messages more, sending introductory messages more, and of course for Singles Events Manila during the pandemic, that's actually when our services go boom. So everyone would like to connect despite the pandemic. And to answer your second question, Sarah, definitely. A lot of quality singles are still right there. They're just inside of their house, but they're connecting through online apps and virtual dating. Very important. Virtual dating right now.
And let me add to that, the second question, because I've noticed a lot of my coupled friends break up during the pandemics, and so these are the same people going into the singles pool. You know
Gotcha.
what I mean? So I mean, I mean, I don't know. A lot of things happened during the pandemic, but I think yun nga, everybody wants to connect at this stage.
That is true. And Sarah, actually, for those who are using Bumble, they had a term for singles who just got out of romantic relationship amid pandemic. So they're calling them the dawn daters. So like the dawn daters, because they just came out of a romantic relationship, and they're now, just like what Sarah said, they're now part of the singles right now who are actually looking for love.
Wow, the dawn daters.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I'm chiming in the conversation. All right, Vanessa, if you, I think if people want proof that Coach Vanessa's advice works, she has been happily married to her boyfriend at 24. So please tell us more about how you were able to find love yourself and what was life before you got into coaching.
Oh yeah. So my life before I became a matchmaker and a dating coach is just like any other like woman's life who
Yeah.
I was someone who at age 16 to 18, I feel like I am ready to meet my Prince Charming, but the Prince Charming never came until I was 24. So I've had my first boyfriend when I was 24. So you might ask, like, Vanessa, Coach Vanessa, that's actually a little too late for you to start, no? First boyfriend.
What?
Actually, that was that was actually one of the driving force behind Singles Events Manila. I was single back then. I don't have much network when it comes to male single professionals. I came from an old girls school as well. So during that time, I even had to Google how to flirt. So very those very basic thread of dating I did not know. And so I thought, how come, like, when we go to college, when we go to school, we've studied like how to be a doctor, how to be a lawyer, but we've never really studied how to do well in love, how to do well in finding a partner, how to choose a partner right, how to attract a significant other. These things actually are very important human skill and social skills that one has to develop. And so, if we believe that since we don't have that avenue, why don't we create one? And so,
I love it.
a few months before we've created Singles Events Manila, I have started researching about the science of dating,
Yes.
because
Ooh.
I was studying sociology during my master's class, and I thought, like,
Mhm.
what do you think is the most effective way to learn dating, but actually to learn it from people who have studied human beings scientifically. So we're talking
Mhm.
about psychologists, sociologists, anthropologists, And so if we want to learn how to be good when it comes to our social skills, we will learn from these people who have, surveyed, studied thousands and thousands of singles. And so a
Right.
few months after researching the science of dating, of course, I am my first guinea pig. So I've actually tried to apply what I've learned, and lo and behold, after just 7 days of starting Singles Events Manila, I've met my significant other, who is
No,
now
wow.
7 days. Teka lang ha, 1
yes,
week.
So,
one week. Yes,
was he
yes.
your client? Was he one of the singles?
So during the time, we just started organizing the first event of Singles Events Manila, and we are now on to our second event. So we were actually campaigning for it via Facebook. I also tell my classmates in my masters about the event, and one of my
Yeah.
classmates was like, Vanessa, why don't you come here in this coffee shop? I have my fellow organization mates from like JCI. If you guys are familiar,
Right.
I'm gonna introduce them to you because they are single professionals. And I was like, I just came from my class. I'm really, really hungry. I am tired, but I will have to like be there because I need to meet this
Wow.
about Singles Events Manila. And so when I went there, there were like five guys. I just told them about the event. And so like after I've actually pitched about Singles Events Manila, we started talking. After 3 hours of talking, somebody already like asked me like on a date, but I just brushed it off because I was thinking, I need these guys to attend Singles Events Manila. And then the next morning, my classmates was calling me like, "Hey Vanessa, do you remember like Vladimir, one of my friends whom you've met last night? He was asking if he could have your number." And I was like, in my mind, go give my number because I'm gonna invite that guy in the event. I was thinking about the event, but then like after a few days, the Vladimir actually like asked me out, and we've had like a very very good first date, and I was like, wow,
Aww.
this is what happens when you shift your mindset and you actually learn, like a little bit of science of dating. It will put you in a great advantage, and at the same time, we are dealing with humans, so it will not hurt to study more about how can we deal with humans socially and at the same time more pleasantly.
Love it. Oh my God. So there's hope for us.
Definitely, there's hope for everyone who of course wants to do great in dating.
Yeah, I can relate well to this because I'm also a coach. So when I tell my students that anyone can be a business owner, anyone can be an entrepreneur because these things you can learn the structure, the science behind it. And in the Philippines, alam naman natin, 'di ba? We have this kind of mindset na no, the right guy will come and hihintayin ko siya. So it's always like it's not very proactive. So I'm loving this because we are basically telling women, well, for everyone, women and men, that you need to do all, there's a science behind it. You can learn the steps or maybe the kind of mindset that you need to have in order for you to achieve this. So because of our culture as well as, medyo outdated na yung mga mindset ng about dating. So what was dating like before and now? What are the major differences that you can see for millennials and for Gen Zs?
Gotcha. So, Susie, just to add, when it comes to women, one of the biggest purpose of the creation of Singles Events Manila was actually to give women the freedom to choose. And so,
Yes.
why would you like go to like a lot of weddings, go to a lot of funerals? Where else can you meet someone? A lot of birthdays, when you could just go to an event where you could meet like 60 single professionals in one go. And I'm putting
Very strategic.
I'm putting an emphasis in the word professionals, because we also believe before we start dating, we have to actually some sort of level or set the foundation. So professionals
Right.
meaning you're already on your feet, you are working, and of course, I'm telling everyone this: dating is it's not cheap. So it's like you build your own career first, focus on your career, and then when you feel like you can afford to welcome another human being in your life without burdening them, being an asset instead of being a liability in the relationship, then you should actually think about dating. And so
Wow.
going back to Susie's question, what are the differences between like how people date before compared to how people date now? So a lot of our parents, they have actually met through, it's either through referrals from family and friends, or I have mentioned they either attend like funerals, birthdays, like those kinds of event. But actually now, meeting your significant other, people are becoming more intentional. Compared before, if you hold like a singles event, a lot of people will be raising their eyebrows, and they're gonna say like, hey, that's like for desperate people, why are you attending that? Like, hey, those are strangers, it's scary. But now people actually recognize the power of networking.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
They're more open to explore connecting to people, not only professionally but even romantically. And so gathering singles right now is much 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 easier compared to like having singles in one place before. And of course, the use of online apps is really a game changer. Compared before, it's not really part of the go-to of our parents, no, like online, like, hey, don't go there, like it's unimaginable. But right now, you cannot imagine dating without dating apps.
I agree. I
Right.
agree.
We've brushed upon the services that you do
Okay.
um in Singles Events Manila, right? So you used to hold these events for single professionals. So would you like to tell us more about the service that you offer Filipinos, and also how that has changed since the lockdown happened?
Thank you, Sarah. Sure. So for Singles Events Manila, for those who have not heard of us, we are actually an organization that basically connects single professionals. So that's what we do. We started in 2014. Basically, what we do is we invite single professionals to meet us in a venue. Most of the time, we are in like Makati and Greenbelt, or we also organize events in like Taguig and Quezon City. And what we do is when we gather single professionals, we don't do the typical, what you do like speed dating, where you
Speed
sit
dating, yeah.
down and talk to
Mm-hmm.
people. The organizers behind Singles Events Manila actually experienced how to go on speed dating, and we feel like there is no way for us to connect emotionally if all we do is just talk. Like, what do you do?
Right.
Like, where do you go to school? So we feel like asking these questions, people will be assessing you based on how much you make or what is your like social status. And so
Mm-hmm.
what is the best way to connect people emotionally? We believe that one of the ways we can do that is to actually put them under like a certain challenge. So for single event, for those who have attended our events, they know that we never sit down. We play psychology based games. So a lot of it singles
Ooh.
under like challenges, we put them under certain activities that promotes to build bond between them, so that after the event they will not be feeling awkward, or they will not be feeling shy already, because they've been through all this like crazy activities already, so their guards are down and they're likely to connect emotionally. So that's how we started. We were doing ground events. One event will be attended by 60 single professionals, so that's 30 women and 30
Wow, that's a lot.
Now that the pandemic has actually happened, all of our events has been canceled, of course, because we have to be safe from this thing that was happening. So what happened was we pivoted from on-ground events to virtual events, and we actually still do the same. Every Saturday, we gather single professionals via Zoom. We actually ask them to, talk about themselves and play games so that single professionals will be able to connect with them emotionally. And Singles Events Manila has been an advocate of meeting single professionals in a fun way. So it's not,
Right.
the pressure, because being single and being in an event full of singles actually puts a lot of pressure when it comes to,
Mm-hmm.
our attendees. So we tried our best to integrate psychology-based activities and games so that they will feel relaxed and they will feel as if they're just meeting old friends.
Can we talk about the activities just for someone who hasn't experienced, the traditional
Yeah,
speed
I'm
dating?
curious.
Because I guess people would want to know how this is supposed to be fun when,
Yeah.
like they're probably scared of putting themselves out there and meeting a stranger. So maybe just one example of an activity online that you do, and maybe yung on the ground activity
Yeah.
as well.
All
Yeah.
right. So for on the ground, it'll be like very very funny, but for sure, if I mention this game, you will laugh because you would remember. Are you guys familiar with paper dance, trip to Jerusalem?
Yes.
What else? Like all these childhood games that you used to enjoy when you were young. We do that with a twist because we understand that we are playing with single professionals. And so,
Right.
besides having fun, our secondary goal is actually to allow them to connect emotionally, to allow them to work together so that they would know the singles who are short tempered. They would recognize, they would
Oh.
spot singles who
I
are
love it.
patient. They will be able to spot singles who were gentlemen and charming. And so all these things, like
Oh my God, I love that.
just imagine all the childhood games that you used to love. We actually get that concept. We try to integrate it with our own, and that's what we play. So you would feel as if you were just in a children's party if you attend singles events Manila on ground. Now, now that we have pivoted in online events, are you familiar with the games? Never have I ever. What else? Like, what are
Yes,
games that
yes.
you can think of? So a lot of it are games that you used to play with your barkada, with your clique.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
do that because we want you to feel as if you are not there to be chosen. You are not there to be, to find your husband. You are actually there to let the universe know that you exist, and your primary goal is not to be chosen but be able to choose who do you think is the best person for you.
Oh my God, that is so empowering. My gosh. Um okay, I'm excited to join in the the online version.
You're welcome
Pero
to see.
sige. I know because you've worked with different types of people, right? Compared to the westernized culture, the traditional courtship in the Philippines is very different. It's described as more subdued, tayo indirect tayo. There are different phases with the process. And you've helped singles find love in the Philippines and United States. And I know I know this some of this because I've been interacting with foreigners for the past 3 years in Siargao because I have a hostel there. I know how different it would be in dating men from the Philippines to the foreign versus the foreigners. So can you share more about it?
Sure, there's actually a lot of difference between, singles from the Philippines and singles from the United States and other parts of the world, because Singles Events Manila is also like serving singles in Dubai, in Denmark, and other places. But one of the things that I love to share, of course, besides the obvious beauty difference in beauty standards that like Filipino
Yep.
and non-Filipino
Yes.
have, one particular, I would say, preference or standards that men and women from the United States has, that people in the Philippines do not really like consider, is when it comes to like the political affiliation. I know there are also Filipinos that are so strong, that feel so strong about their political affiliation, but you would be surprised when you work with singles in America. They
Yep.
feel so strongly about it, whether like you're a red or you're a blue, and some of them are
Mm.
really very straight. Like, I don't want to date someone who is not like politically, like the ideology is different from me. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, compared to the Philippines, we are much more tolerance, we tolerate that. But for the Philippines, I believe that the religion is the more important
Mm.
factor. So we also hear a lot of singles from the Philippines who would want to, for example, if they're Christian, they would like to date someone who's Christian as well. If they're like INC or Protestant, then you might as well give them someone who also is in line with their faith, or else without even meeting them, some of them declines already. So religion
Oh.
for the Philippines and political affiliation for the United States, to say the least.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I'm guessing as well na it's hard. It's even harder. It's more challenging to find a match for them just because they all have these non-negotiables. But then yun nga that's the good thing about this event, because then you are already identifying what your non-negotiables are and what are the things that you can still be flexible about, and then you go out there and okay, who is the right person for me? I love that.
That's
And
true.
yeah. Yeah, you want to add something, Vanessa?
And just to add, Susie, I know that I've talked about our group events, like dating events. I forgot
Yes.
to mention that, of course, for those people who do not feel, for those singles who do not feel like group events is for them, we
Mm.
actually do a lot of blind dates, private matchmaking,
Right.
Mm.
clients. So what we do is, you're correct, Susie. From the very beginning, we ask them, what is your preference? What are
Yep.
the things that you cannot tolerate? What are your non-negotiables? So these things are already, put in a paper. And of course, when we introduce them to someone, our two main considerations is, first, the person has to fit their preferences. Second, it has to be mutual. So we're not
Right.
introduce you with someone who does not want to meet you. We have to make sure that you're gonna meet someone who also initially expressed an interest to date you.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, there should be a consent on both parties.
Correct.
Yeah.
Mutual
And
attraction.
also,
Yeah.
exactly. And I'm very curious. Do you the online dating, sorry, the online event, does it can I mingle with people outside the Philippines as well? I mean, do you do it exclusively like for Filipinos or for foreigners, something like that?
Ayun,
Because
lumalabas na yung type ni Suzy.
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't do.
I can feel it already, Susie. So for Singles Events Manila, most of the people really that we cater are like single professionals, Filipinos. But
Mhm.
a lot of the people also that we work with when it comes to private matchmaking are non-Filipinos. So you would see in our virtual events, we have a lot of single professionals who are, based in the Philippines, based overseas, but they are Filipinos. But when we talk about
Mhm.
non-Filipinos, foreign national, they tend to choose private matchmaking First, because they
Mm.
value, especially if they're, someone who's like a little bit on the higher end, they value their privacy a lot. At the same time, of course, they don't wanna like go and mingle around. They just wanna, they're very set on their goal. I wanna find
Yeah.
someone to love, and this is who I want. So can you help me find them?
Right, right. So we've mentioned about so many things that change, from the way we date. And yun yan, yung iba sa atin mas advanced na mag-isip in terms of the culture or the political affiliation doesn't matter anymore. So how is dating like for the modern millennial Pinoy?
So for modern millennial Pinoy, I agree with you, Susie, that they are more like liberal now compared to, like how they are or how we are like 10 years ago. That's
Yes.
why when you look at the dating attitudes of modern millennials who are Filipinos, they are likely to explore different ways of meeting a significant other. So I
Right.
mentioned very briefly a while ago when it comes to like online dating. So that's one. You can actually work with organizations such as like Singles Events Manila. Singles Events Manila actually 80% of our clients are millennials. They're not Gen Z. They're not like over the age of millennials. So what I like about Pinoy millennials is they have a good balance between like the modern dating and the traditional dating. Modern
Right.
in the sense that they recognize the power of technology and introducing them to
Right.
potential significant others. But at the same time, they also recognize the power of referral, like friends, or working with organizations such as Singles Events Manila, who could actually introduce them in a, like in person, in a like not in a very say digital way. So there's a good balance between Pinoy millennial daters right now. And another thing that's actually great about Pinoy millennial daters is that they are more open when it comes to dating non-Filipino. So I know that a lot of very good, Susie. So before it would be very seldom actually to find someone who would date non-Filipinos and be very proud about it or not be
Right.
ashamed about it. But right now, when you actually date non-Filipinos, it's just like, okay, that's like usual. Like you would have beautiful babies, So
Yes.
that openness in mindset is really beautiful, and that's actually one of the things that we've witnessed in Pinoy millennial daters right now.
Okay. Natawa ako doon. I can totally relate. Because I was always joking with Sarah that kailangan ko ng blue-eyed and green-eyed babies. But you have to be very strategic, intentional. Okay.
Yes, that's the word.
Na I remember, so I'm part of this group, and siguro majority of them are coupled or married already with babies, but a lot of us are still single in our 30s. So we were having this conversation na parang two of my girlfriends were like, we need to learn how to play golf if we want to attract established men. And so parang my other group of single friends naman were saying na, well, we need to be established ourselves, right? And so I think parang we're at a point where we do trust um, our network and yung parang referrals from friends. And so I think the concept of matchmaking works for millennials and maybe Gen Z as well, no? Because we value peer-to-peer ano
Referral.
tawag doon? Referrals and
Yes.
opinion, right?
Correct, correct.
So 'cause I was watching this show. She's based in New York. She's kind of famous in the modern matchmaking world. And I haven't seen that siguro since Netflix nga from that show, parang I haven't seen that many matchmaking in Philippines. So how do you think that would evolve in this digital world, Vanessa.
Right. So that's true, Sarah. I don't even know if there are other like Filipino matchmakers in the Philippines, because when clients talk to me and I ask them like, how did you know about us? They would know, like we were searching in Google and like all we find was like bride bride for sale or like those things
Oh my God.
about the Philippines. And I was like, that is so crazy. I wish I've never heard that kind of feedback. But then, yeah, so for the Philippines, I believe that matchmaking is really, really new. It's not
Okay.
common as like here in the United States where matchmakers are like really a thing, especially for established men and women. So they really like work with matchmakers to save time, filter people
Mm.
for them, and of course security and privacy is very important right now. And so you have a
Yeah.
matchmaker to help you sort all of that. But for the Philippines, I also believe that, of course, like as a society, it's not really our priority right now because we are so busy with our basic needs, our health care, very basic stuff. So I also wish for the Philippines economy to, of course, go up, so that we will also be able to put more attention and importance when it comes to like not only basic needs, but social needs as well, and of course the need for belonging, such as love and peer and stuff. So for Singles Events Manila, it has always been a challenge to change the mindset of young single Filipinos that working with organizations such as this does not mean that you are desperate. It means that you are empowered. It means that you value your time, and at the same time that you also don't want to be wasting your time, you know?
Right.
So if you have
Mm.
a lot of time and you feel like online dating is for you, you could actually go out there, download like those apps, spend so many hours, filter like people yourself. But again, if you want like people to help you with the filtering, if you want people who tells you like, we've been working with a lot of singles. We believe that this works when it comes to your online profile. This does not, because like these are the scientific explanations behind it. So we are very much like happy to work with you. So it has been for 6 years. Um, it has been a consistent struggle to change the single people's mindset, but we are happy that more single professionals are actually opening up to the matchmaking idea, and at the same time having like organizations that like sometimes you join organizations because you want to expand your network. So Singles Events Manila, you also join Singles Events Manila if you want to expand your network romantically.
I love that.
There you go.
All
Right.
right.
Mhm.
So, modern dating, I want to talk about that because everything is digital right now. I want to know, like for me personally, I would think now, okay, I'm gonna wait it out. I'm gonna wait until the lockdown is done, the pandemic is, done before I get to dating. But of course, we have to pivot, we have to adapt. But how do you do dating now? Like, what are the trends you're seeing happening in the Philippines and abroad in terms of modern dating practices? Because I'm clueless at this. Honestly, I need help, coach.
All right. That's a great question, Susie. So there are like a lot of new trends that we're seeing, but let me share around like three or four with you guys right now. One of my favorites would be the borderless dating. Borderless
Ooh.
dating. And
Okay, I'm listening.
pandemic happened, whether that person you're talking is just like a few blocks away from you, or that person is like in Mindanao or in Australia, it does not really matter because we are on the same playing ground. We're not gonna meet anyway. And so we have actually realized that singles are now more open to meeting not only people who are from Quezon City, from Manila. I mean, asking about their location is not one of the top questions that they would ask you at the very
Interesting.
because
Right.
because of the pandemic, their mindset has expanded in a way that, oh, it's not so bad to meet someone or to date someone that's not from my place. Because again, the level ground is the same, and at the same time, it actually gives you more options. So since people are also craving for, social connections, because we have been
Yeah.
in isolation for a long time, we are more tolerant, we are more forgiving. And so meeting someone from a different like universe doesn't sound so bad. So borderless love is actually a thing now. Second would be for those singles and of course couples who are watching, who've said like, I will never be in an LDR relationship. We are actually seeing a long distance relationship, kind of, there's some sort of acceptance that's happening right now, because even if you are just in Quezon City and I'm just in Makati, because of all the quarantine protocols and of course our fear for our health, safety, we are actually tend to be in a love lockdown. And so
Yes.
people who never imagined themselves being in a long distance relationship are forced to be in a long distance relationship. And then 1 year after the lockdown, they have realized that it's not that bad. I could play around. I could actually learn how to, make it work. So that's
Yeah.
actually the second trend that we are actually seeing right now. People are more open to the idea of LDR, at least until the pandemic is over. So the third would be of course, the virtual love. So this is where you will see a lot of virtual dates happening. And it's beautiful because meeting in person is not anymore an immediate requirement. It's
Right.
becoming an option. So now, even after the pandemic, we would see people putting more value in meeting virtually, like going on video calls, doing video
Yeah.
calls first before meeting in person. And so
Right.
actually like one of the changes that the pandemic has brought, here in the Philippines and in abroad.
I can attest to that because I used to be so averse to video calls, and I didn't want them to see what my room looked like, or like I'd rather wait for the in-person meeting. But right now, like it's almost the first thing that we ask, because why even bother meeting in person, like because of safety and the protocols, right?
True.
Like why even bother if you don't get along via the video call?
Video
So
call. Yeah.
That's
I
true.
guess people are more comfortable now.
Correct. And I love virtual dating because it's so cost efficient. Like, oh my God,
True.
if,
True.
if you're gonna go on a first date with someone and unfortunately like you will not be connecting, you've paid like the restaurant, you've bought maybe like a new dress, like new shoes and stuff, paid for Uber, or like drive and go to like 30 minute 1 hour away. But then if you actually first connect via virtual date, it actually helps you connect emotionally first, then physical connection, which will of course help you become more smarter when it comes to dating. Because sometimes when we get so excited, even if we are rational human beings, when we are being hacked by our emotions in our, the needs of the body, it's so difficult to assess the person, like when they're already in front of you and they're so good looking. But
Yeah.
when you are connecting virtually, you are actually forced to connect emotionally first, talk about, their like basic information, like how they are as a person. Of course, it's different, when you meet in person, but you would actually have an idea whether the person speaks English well, whether the person has a sense of humor. So it's very cost efficient and at the same time very safe at this.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm super convinced. No, but Coach Vanessa is actually right. I'm thinking that before we value the interaction, but now it's like if you're busy and you have so many things, and of course the safety and everything. Considering all of that, I mean, doing video calls is like an early validation. As early as that, you can already assess the person before you meet him.
That's
Okay,
true.
so go ahead, Sarah.
And just to add, Sarah and Susie, the process right now is when you meet someone from online apps, is you meet in online apps, you ask
Mm-hmm.
for their social media, you validate whether the person is a real person. So that's the second step. The third step is actually you meet them virtually, and then
Mm-hmm.
meeting in person only comes like in the fourth level. So you have
Mm-hmm.
more ways to actually
Yeah.
get information about the
Right.
person before like meet them in person. And of course, sometimes, like especially right now, it's a risk. It's not because they're gonna kidnap you, but there's a huge possibility that you will have, risk yourself in it. So when you actually searched for them already online, saw their social media pages, spoke with them virtually, you would have a better sense whether it is worth the risk to contract a COVID when you meet.
Are you worth the?
Yes.
Nako, coach, may date pa naman ako after the stream.
Oh
Pero
my
we'll be
god!
careful.
Sorry.
No, I was gonna ask before Susie talks more about secure privacy issues. Since we're already talking about dating apps, no, I just wanna ask the Coach Vanessa about these. The people who have been in solitary confinement, diba? So how do we know if these people really want to find the real thing and it's not just a casual, like ang term is pandemic fling.
Yes, yes. All right. So how do you filter the people who are, emotionally available to connect with you in a romantic way compared to like those people who are just bored, right? And just killing time on
Yeah.
social media. Well, scientists have actually recommended ways to find people who are emotionally available. So they say that this is actually a online dating profile tip for those who are using online apps. Is if you want to appear more emotionally available to your matches, what you do is in your description, in your profile description, you use the words love, heart, or romance, or those words that are related to that. Why? Because even if you say, like, instead of saying I like the beach, you say I love the beach, because subconsciously researchers have found out that subconsciously when people read your profile and you have those words, it will automatically like give them a sense of, oh, this person is like emotionally available, because they are seeing like these words that are actually connected with people who are like open to falling in love. So find
Mhm.
people who talks about love. Find people, because what's beautiful about the dating apps also is sometimes you would spot people who are like right out, they would say like just looking around. I mean, like, of course you would have to
Laugh.
already.
Yeah.
But like when you find people who talks about their emotions, who talks about like their personal life, like these are my hobbies, and most importantly, this is the kind of people I want to meet. So,
Mhm.
experts
Mhm.
also recommend that in your description, you do 70-30. 70 would be about you. The 30% should be about the person you want to meet. In that
Okay.
way,
Mhm.
it automatically filters already the people who's gonna message you. So find those people who has those kinds of description. They talk about something that they love, what they care about. And of course, they also talk about the people that they want to meet. It means that they also have certain standards, and
Right.
they're not there to just, waste their time.
Wow. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome. And of course,
Mm.
there's a lot more things that you can do to. Of course, it will not be 100% like bullseye, but it will actually help you reach out or connect to people who are open to love. So more of that we teach in our coaching classes with Singles Events Manila too.
Right.
There you go.
So for in particular, like in single events Manila, how do you ensure the safety of men and women participants?
All right. So are you talking about like the ground events or the virtual events right now?
Both. Maybe we can talk a little bit about both.
Gotcha. So since we were doing the ground events, it's very, very important that to share with you guys that we have an intensive registration system. It means that when you actually join
Right.
Singles Events Manila, you're not just gonna send your like name, your payment, and you're done. No, there's a very long registration form that you would have to fill out, and of course that includes your social networking sites, your email address. We also ask them to send their IDs, especially when we are a little bit doubtful when it comes. So we do like a filtering system. At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, we feel that's why, ladies and gentlemen, be very careful with what you post on your social media, because we actually do social media monitoring also. Of course, we before we send you the final registration for, because there are two layers: the first registration where we learn about you, and the second registration wherein you will actually learn more about the event. We actually check on your social media pages. And so I remember there was this one time wherein the guy was all set, ready to attend, but we have witnessed and we've seen on his social media pages that he's actually homophobic. Like these things we do
Oh.
mix in our pool, because we actually promote tolerance and we promote inclusivity, whether you are, say, coming from like an elite family or you're coming from middle class. We actually want a good mix of single professionals. And even though we don't have events for LGBTQ.
Right.
For now, we actually value people who are like more tolerant, more liberal, more open to various ideas, and of course, like just being like a kind, decent human being. That's why we want to work with single professionals, because we expect that there's some kind of level of decency and professionalism when it comes to relating to other people. So that's actually just one of the things that we do when we filter single professionals. And second one would be, besides your social media sites, we actually do get feedback from your fellow single professionals. So you cannot join our event again if we have received like very negative feedback about you. But thankfully, the singles who have been joining has been very pleasant, and so we're very happy.
Right. Right.
I, I
Thanks
think
for
that's the
sharing that.
difference. Right. I think that's the difference between whether you're gonna go date on your own versus you have Singles Events Manila, where you hire them to help you in the dating aspect, because you get feedback right away and from people that are trusted.
Right.
Because I met this guy and he was telling me he went on a date with this girl who was asking him about his bank details, what he does for how much he makes. They were in Greenbelt and they I think they went to like a shop for bags, and she was like saying na parang, oh, can I borrow your credit card?
Oh my.
So I think parang these are the things, situations that most entrepreneurs and yun nga, established successful professionals have to navigate, right? So how do they filter those kinds of women? How do we ensure that we're not being taken advantage of? And I think one way is through yun nga, the matchmaking service.
Yeah, and more importantly, Sarah, since of course, like when you actually like attend Singles Events Manila and you'll be out and on your own, we will not be able to like, of course, look after you all the time. That's why what we do is we promote um, being smarter in dating. So that includes a lot of advices from experts, from researchers, like how do you spot like this? How do you like what are the signs that it's not gonna be like a good date or it's gonna be a bad date? So a lot of the things that we're doing is not only connecting single professionals, but really spreading the knowledge because we believe knowledge is indeed power. And so when you are empowered, when you feel that you are equipped with, basic knowledge when it comes to dating, then you don't feel as if you are an easy prey.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Feeling ko easy prey ako. Charot.
Talaga ba? Iniisip ko nga na mas ikaw yung hindi eh.
Parang I think yun nga. I think it's important nga to learn how humans interact with each other, their needs, and how you communicate, I guess, or present yourself.
That's true.
Right, right.
And when you are actually, when you are dating intelligently, which is one of our advocacies, I mean, it would be easier for you to spot whether that person is really onto you because they want to connect with you romantically, or they're onto you because you have a really nice car or you have a really sexy body. And so knowledge is indeed power, even when it comes to
I'm curious about this. Sorry, Sarah. Just one quick question. Do you recommend your clients to clean up, quote unquote, their Facebook, their social media pages, or is it like medyo ano to audit, like ano yung surprise audit?
Excess ba to?
I don't know, but I mean, some people like meron silang address na edi sa puso mo or working at Krusty Krabs. I don't know. So do you, diba? So do you tell your clients that okay, you should remove that?
So for Singles Events Manila, as I have mentioned, we offer like a coaching session, like we call it a science-based coaching session, and so.
Right.
I work with a lot of successful women in the Philippines, and it's part really of our role as a matchmaker and as a dating coach to not only like help them be like more empowered and more appealing as like a person in person, but also the face that they have online.
Yeah, so, it's important. Yeah,
especially right now. We are only as good as our like Facebook. People cannot see us, ladies and gentlemen. So we help them, of course. We help them with their profile pictures, with the information that they put on their social media sites, like everything that you could think of, wherein like potential partners will be looking at. We've actually also like, hey, try to set your computer in incognito, type your name. What are the things people could actually read about you? So for those who are watching, I'm gonna do like a test run with your names online. So that's gonna be helpful because a person who is interested with you will of course do their due diligence to research as much information about you, because just it's very evolutionary. We want to be able to see red flags at the very beginning, so that we will not be caught off guard.
Right. Thank you for that. I took note of that. Okay, let's talk about let's go back to dating, because yun nga, some people, like for me, I've been I haven't dated for quite a while, and there should be like, I want to be educated about the proper etiquette, because it's scary for me, but there should be like a science as well behind the dating etiquette. So can you share more about that, Coach?
Of course. So we do science-based science of dating, but at the same time, before we even discuss that, the basic dating etiquettes also has to be in place. So these are two different things. But when we talk about dating etiquette, we actually, especially for men, we actually make sure that they know the basics. So what are the basic when it comes to dating etiquettes? Some people will say, oh, that's very like old fashioned and stuff. But really, dating etiquette could be like whether you like the woman or not, have the decency to open their door, pull their chair, and of course, at least offer for the tab.
Yeah.
If-
For
What's the rule for the tab? Is it
Oo nga.
50-50 or
All right. So when we actually talk about this, it would depend upon who are we talking to. When it comes to men, when we coach men, if we see that, like we tell them, if you feel or if you see that you could afford it, please try your best to pay for at least the first date.
Okay.
fair enough?
Yes.
Yeah.
Fair enough, because women, of course, have especially if they like you, they of course went to like buy their dress, went to the salon, do all those stuff that of course cost money as well. But most importantly, why should men pay for at least the first date? It's because it's a way to show that you value their time. It's like the least that you can do. So please, men,
Right.
if you could afford it, you will not be taken advantage of if it's just like it's a first date, and
Right.
it's not about your date. It's about you as a human being, like how you actually take care of women, whether you like them or not. So for men, if you can pay for the first date, for the women, of course, we actually teach, especially like we're working with CEO women also who has like this strong personality who are actually independent, and of course they could take care of themselves. But when we coach them, we tell them like, you are a CEO in your company, but when it comes to dating, please take a step back. Allow men to actually do their thing. If they want to pay for the date, please do not battle with them. Accept it and say thank you. And maybe if you can make it up, you can invite for a second date. But again, whether you are a CEO or a high level executive woman, when it comes to your dating, you don't have to be that person. You could actually relax, enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
take the burden or so much responsibility in your dating life the same way that you do in your company or in your family. So for women, we suggest that you take that kind of role, enjoy, relax, and at the same time, the next thing that you could do is offer. But again, if they
Yep.
really want to pay for it, accept it. You know why? If you learn about the science of dating, and I hope you guys don't mind me sharing the science of dating, we teach about the Benjamin Franklin effect, or the psychology of asking for favor. When you actually let a man pay for your meal, or when you let them open your doors, they are likely to care for you because they have
Okay.
either time, effort, attention, even money. So when people wants to do you like a favor, do like kind things to you, do not repel it, accept it, and just say thank you.
Oh my God, I really needed to hear that. Thank you so much. Nakarelate ako ng super.
Why is it because you don't necessarily ask for help or
Yeah. I'm always like that. And also because I try to repel some offers. Because just like what Vanessa said, parang if you have that kind of strong personality, you don't want to, you tend to think about it as a weakness sometimes. Okay, so you try to repel all those offers, and even, yun nga, the mindset that you have at work, because I'm like that at work. I tend to, to reflect that on the dates. Eh, hindi naman ako nag-work pag nagde-date ako. So that actually is a good a good thing to highlight.
Yeah. There are a lot of gentlemen out there, and sometimes I feel sad for them, because even if they want to, because when you give them a chance, men, there are a lot of men who also wants to, share and prove themselves as well. So allow them to be kind to you, allow them to be gentleman to you. So when you do that, you would be surprised and you would appreciate men more.
For sure, for sure. I feel like this is one-on-one coaching. Thanks, Vanessa.
Siguro,
Okay.
as my final question, because we're already in that topic, what are the
Mhm.
biggest mistakes that successful men and women or professionals make when it comes to dating? And if you have to give them advice, parang like just do this one thing.
All right. So thank you for your question, Sarah, because like the thing that we were talking about a while ago is actually like our main message. Like when it comes to dating, you could be like the most successful like woman in your career, but it will affect your dating life if you do not know how to compartmentalize. That means sometimes our personality when it comes to our work life, family life, friend life, and dating life has to be compartmentalized in a way that you are dealing with people and you have to act appropriately. That's why studying the science of dating is so powerful because you will actually learn how to relate with different people. So when it comes to your dating life, even if you are a CEO, even if you're earning so much more than the guy, when you actually study like the biology, the evolutionary theory, like when it comes to, the relationships of men and women, you will recognize that if you want to see more decent guys and gentleman guys, it has to start with you. So you have to conduct yourself in a way that you are worthy of people's efforts and love. You are worthy even if you're not being like your own CEO in your dating life. It's okay
Mhm.
to of course be proactive, take in charge of your dating life, but at the same time recognize also the efforts that the opposite gender can do. So a lot of the things that we teach is like changing the mindset. First is you are dating because you don't want to be just chosen. You are actually dating because you want to choose. You want to be able to, not only end up with someone just because they're the ones who is available. They're the ones who's like close to you in terms of proximity. Because
Right.
proximity is actually one of the influencer whether you end up with someone or not. Scientists are saying that when you are actually like a few miles, a few blocks from the person, you are likely to choose that over someone from like overseas.
Yeah.
And so when you are
Mhm.
aware of this like hacks, or when you are aware of this possibilities, you become more equipped in a sense that you balance your thinking. Oh, maybe like I'm going on a date and he's taking me to a roller coaster ride, and you feel so attracted to the person. If you know the misattribution of arousal, I'm just saying like a concept here, but I would explain. Misattribution of arousal states that when you are actually doing activities that increases your heart rate, you
Yeah.
tend to like the person more. They tend to look more attractive to you. So when you
Mhm.
know these rules, you're gonna like step back and think like, do I really like this person, or do I like this person because we're doing like really exciting activities?
Of the
So
thrill.
yes, the thrill and many other concepts. So science of dating is very, very powerful for successful women to study because they will be able to learn how to step back, bring out the femininity. At the same time, they will also be able to learn when to, be assertive, when to actually use their independence, strong independence personalities when it comes to dating. So it's actually like knowing when to use this tool and knowing when not to use a certain tool. There you go.
And this goes for men and women, right? So
Yeah.
they don't need to be so aggressive and masculine all the time.
Mhm.
So para it's
Yes,
about a
yes.
balance of energies in certain situations, I guess.
Right.
Right, right.
There are times where it will be beneficial for you to prove that you are masculine, you're a person who is like dominant and stuff. But there are actually times where if you do it, it's gonna backfire. So knowing
Mm,
when to be masculine, dominant, and be strong and vulnerable is actually the key to a successful dating as well.
okay.
Love
Perfect.
it.
May final question pala ako kasi I just recently got ghosted and I hope he's not watching because we're still Facebook friends.
Okay.
I'm not gonna mention his name. I think it's a concept that's it's not foreign anymore because it's become a norm for some reason ever
Right.
since the technology got in the way of our relationship and sexual lives, right? So
Mm-hmm.
any tips on not getting ghosted by somebody, or is it our fault? Diba?
Right. So,
I hope he's listening. I hope that he's tuning
okay.
in,
All
Sarah.
right.
I hope not.
So I will start with the good news. When we actually look at the dating trends and dating patterns right now, 2021 and moving forward, there's this concept that's starting to come up often, and this concept has to do with ghosting going like the trend of ghosting is actually going down because this dating pattern that's happening, it says that people are becoming more like straightforward, like because of the pandemic they've actually learned
Correct.
how to like be intentional. They've learned how to cut the crap and just say
Right.
sorry, this is not what I'm looking for. Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we are gonna connect. Because of course
Yeah.
people wants to save time. We've wasted like a year of already in our just staying at home. So people actually learned how to say that up front, but that's gonna be like towards the coming years. Right now we are still experiencing a lot of ghosting, and so when people actually ghost you, a lot of it has to do with like how you take it. There's no way that we could prevent ghosting 100%. Even if you're a celebrity, even if you're a beauty queen, even if you're Piolo Pascual, he gets ghosted as well. So what we're saying is there's just so much we can do to control the opposite gender, but
Mm-hmm.
I think that the best way to actually manage our expectations and of course manage the pain that ghosting has is actually affected us is to change our mindset. So whenever someone ghosts you, just remember that that person is a human being also. That person is also in the pursuit of their for their true love. And so if they
Mm-hmm.
ghost you, if they tell you like sorry, I don't think like we are like a match. Do not take it personally. Just think of the person as a human being like you. You are in the pursuit of true love. That person is also in the pursuit for someone who's gonna love them like truly. So both of you are human beings, both of you are looking for true love. So be very forgiving and be patient. Just don't talk to them again. There's a trend that's happening right now. They're gonna ghost you and they're gonna talk to you again. Just don't talk to them again so that you don't waste
Okay.
time as well.
Thank you for that advice.
All right.
All right. I think we are going to wrap up now. I'm sure we have lots of things to talk about. There are so many questions in at the back of my head, even from the comments. But we are going to maybe continue this for another episode, hopefully. But for now, I want to know, Sarah, what's your biggest takeaway from this discussion?
Um, I guess kasi I've always thought na I need to be I need to control my my assertiveness because I'm very
Mm,
independent. I've always been independent, and so a lot of people have been telling me na it's you're not going to a job interview, Sarah. Parang it's not your usual live stream, so medyo tone down with the questions or just enjoy. And so I'm trying to be more feminine, I guess, which is not bad.
Okay.
That's what I
Yeah,
learned.
yeah. For sure. Ako naman, wow, ang dami ko na-realize. But I think the best way is to relate this to business because I do business coaching. I realized that it's also a process. Like in business, you have to validate first, you have to plan, and then and then you launch. So it's pretty similar like this. Like you need to do your research, you need to do your maybe the planning, and that's how Singles Events Manila would come in because they can help you out with all of these things before you go out there. So yun yung naisip ko na, yeah, I should probably get back to dating, maybe online dating. Slowly. Also because it's a process. So you have to warm yourself up. Hindi siya pwedeng, okay, magdi-date na ako agad. Parang you have to really you have to be grounded with yourself first. So just like what Coach Vanessa has mentioned, you have to start internally. What are the things that you don't want? What are the things that you want? And what are the things you can adjust? And then you put it out there para mas madaling mag-cut ng mga fats, the unnecessary things. So I look at it as a process now. And just like what Coach Vanessa mentioned, it's a process of trying and failing. So it's pretty much everything in business as well. Like you can't take the failure personally because it's part of the process. It's like it's a trial and error. So hindi pwedeng mag-give up ka on the second, on the third. But there should be someone out there who's definitely meant for you. And you will find that if you keep on trying.
Yeah, Coach Vanessa, do you want to invite our viewers to visit your website and social media? I know we're flashing it, I think, on our banner. Yes, and invite our viewers.
Okay, so to all of excuse me, to all of the single professionals who's watching right now, before I invite you guys, I wanted to share like a few final words to you guys to encourage you to
Yeah, please.
continue to fight and find love. So finding someone to marry is actually one of the most, if not the most important thing that you're going to do in your lifetime. Why? Because the person that you're going to marry will influence not only your health, your wealth, but of course, the future of your children. And so if finding someone to marry is one of the most important things that we're doing in our lifetime, why aren't we studying dating in a way that we study medicine, what's that, like engineering, fashion designing, interior design? We've studied that. And so when we want to be good at certain things, we like study it. So Singles Events Manila will not only help you study the science of dating to increase your likelihood of finding someone, because we believe your time is precious. We don't want you to go and have 10, 25 boyfriends. If you could be strategic and actually end with your first and hopefully last, So we don't only teach you that, we also immerse you to a lot of single professionals with different backgrounds so that you could practice what you learn and at the same time really have a feel of what is it, when you are with singles. So when you improve your social skills, you become more empowered, you become smarter and stronger in love, your significant other, it will be so easy for the universe for you to meet that the one. So to all who's watching, if you're single, visit Singles Events Manila on Facebook. And if you want to connect with me, I am also on Instagram. My Instagram is Dating Analyst, where I share a lot of, science-based and personal dating tips to help single professionals in the Philippines and abroad. So Susie and Sarah, SME Philippines and Women Web Works, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for having Singles Events Manila in your podcast.
Yoo-hoo! Thank you so much. Oh, do you have any events coming up, Vanessa, so that, we can already apply?
Yes, that is great to ask, Susie. Of course, every February, we never leave singles alone. We have a romantic Valentine's party for all singles on February 13. We will also be having an international speaker to teach us the art of seduction. So we teach a lot of science thinking, but this February 13, we will teach singles the art of seduction. On top of introducing you to 50 to 60 single professionals. And so, of course, if you can't make it on Feb 13, Singles Events Manila also has weekly events for all our members. So check out the Single Social Club of our in our page, Singles Events Manila. Thank you, guys.
All right. So for that online event, is that all Pinoy only?
we will not know right now, but most likely a lot of it are Filipino. Sorry, Susie.
Okay. It's all right. I'm gonna wait for the next one.
Ang title nga nung show natin ngayon is Dating Locally.
Dating locally, okay.
So maybe open up to the possibility of dating a Pinoy for now.
Yeah.
Okay.
How did it suit you?
I will check if that's my negotiable or non-negotiable.
Okay, good. You are learning, my dear. Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us on the show, Coach Vanessa. This has been Susie Abella, the Chief Passion Coach of the modernmaria.co. It's an online coaching and mentoring company which aims to empower passionate individuals with tools and knowledge they need to start turning their passion into a viable business. So through a Passion to Business program, I am teaching you how to do purposeful brand and company building, lean business planning, and pitch deck creation if you need to additional funding. And it is my dream and goal to see more ideas come to life as a sustainable passion project. So you can follow me at Facebook /themodernmaria.co and at themodernmaria.co on Instagram.
And I'm Sarah Fernandez, a business consultant, brand strategist, and founder of The Next Wave Co. The Next Wave Co. offers marketing services, tools, resources, confidence, and the motivation to sustainable SMEs wanting to launch or scale in Asia. So follow me on Facebook and Instagram at The Next Wave Co. Do follow Future of Women Web and Work on YouTube and our Facebook page. And if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to share to your friends because there were a lot of nuggets that were shared by our guest coach Vanessa, and I want to say hi to the viewers: Beth, AC Moteliano, Brian Cruz, also Vladimir Antonio. Hello,
Hi.
and Olabuni Gold, who tuned in. So thank you guys, and this have been your hosts Susie and Sarah. We'll see you in the future.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.